Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
'Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of There's Still Time, the AFTN soccer show, broadcasting on CITR radio from the unceded Musqueam territory at the University of beautiful British Columbia.
So smooth there.
Yeah, someone had a bit of issues with that last week.
I blanked out when it came up.
It's all right. I edited it so that no one knew. But you've just spoiled this now.
You did a good editing job. I said to Steve, Steve, are you doing those things? Do I have to do those things? He's like, no, I've been practicing.
I haven't been practicing. I just wrote it up like 2 minutes before. I sent you a DM to send me the information.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then I had to listen to it to find out what it was.
Anyway, I'm Michael McCall.
I'm Steve Pander.
And I'm Zachary Adam Eisenheimer.
And if you're listening to this show on the podcast, this is episode 265. But I'm back this week. Sorry, everyone. I couldn't stay down the Oregon coast any longer. I wanted to, but I had to make it back for Provincial Cup semi-final weekend. We're going to kick things off in the first two parts by looking about the Whitecaps. I'm sorry again, we have to do that as well. We are a Whitecaps podcast after all. But we'll throw some other things in as well. So, Minnesota. Not so much mini ha-ha as mini sob-sob. A bit of a shocker.
Are you going with Johnny Monster's suggestion for the title of this podcast?
Yes, we're going to call this episode of this show Cinco de Mayo. I like that. Wish I'd thought of it myself, but we'll go with that. I like my headline that I had on AFTN, though, like lunacy.
That was good.
That game was kind of full of loons. Where are we ranking this loss with regards to the other defeats we've had this season? Obviously, it's not worse than the KC hammering. Second worst of the season, though, would you say?
I think it has to be.
Result-wise, I don't even think it's in my top three.
Really?
I think the two home games against the LA teams were
the
worse
goats
for me.
and the non-goats?
They're better teams.
LA wasn't. Galaxy weren't. LAFC, they barely put up a fight against them. That for me, it was effort. I don't really have an issue with this game because I knew as soon as they went a man down that it was either going to be a draw or a loss. I never tweeted that out because I didn't want to be like a.
He said it to himself, though. He told me that.
I said it to myself. And I said it to my wife. She was there actually.
Yeah, I remember. But that metric, Steve, I can understand how you would go with that because I remember that night of the. One of the
there was such despair after those two games too that I feel way more than this.
I think it was the Galaxy game where you were just like they just didn't try hard enough or whatever, and you were like so disappointed. Or was that the Goats?
It was the Goats one. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, this is the second worst. I mean, it's a defeat to a 10-man team that already had 11 players out injured or missing for various reasons. Adrian Heath mentioned it was 11 players that were missing after the match.
And they created so many chances.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You can't knock it for that. And we'll come across all this, and we'll start with the starting lineup. There was 4 changes. Now, 2 were obviously enforced. Teixeira, his bra showing days might be over. He was missing. Jordan Much, sadly, it wasn't groin, which was hinted at after the match. It's a hamstring reoccurrence for Much. I was surprised, though, to see Tybert dropping out because I thought him and Gazal had linked up really well together. And I was also surprised that we didn't see Jordi Reyna come in to play with Blondell because of how well they linked up in the pre-season.
And in the early part of the debacle in Kansas City. Yeah.
I mean, and another surprise, 4-4-2. We've gone with an awful lot of different kind of lineups so far this season.
It was a semi 4-4-2.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because you don't have a second striker up there. So it was a disguised, it was a false 4-4-2.
Well, no, Nico
I got the broadcast notes and it was getting sent out as a 4-4-2.
Nico is a striker / midfielder.
Yeah.
But,
It's never
but he's not
really
you're
worked
right.
with
He's not
him,
a typical
no.
striker.
And it's never really worked with him being
a starter.
one of a two before or a starter.
Oh, I thought that's what you were going to say. I thought we were going to complete each other's sentences there.
Yeah. that is the usual end to my sentence.
The week off is the week apart has done you in.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a surprising choice of personnel and lineup, frankly.
I didn't think it was that shocking. I agree with you. Rusty for me was the big miss.
Yeah.
Like Rusty really, feels. I mean, I didn't go to training, but it felt like he earned or deserved his spot next to Ali G there. And then if you put Nico in front of them or Felipe in front of them or whatever, that's fine. But
I even feel that if you wanted to put Felipe in there, I think
Reina.
Ali Ghazal should have came out. If you want, I thought Ty has played better than Ali, and he's still coming back from an injury. So, do you really want to play him back-to-back games on turf and stuff like that? So, I'm just saying, if you were going to take one of them out, I would have taken the other one out.
There's some good logical points there, Steve. But I think, despite some of the criticism that Ali G got in some quarters for the match, I think that he is a bit of a linchpin there in the middle.
Yeah.
Like he holds it all together.
He's going to be the guy that's like one of the first names I think on the team sheet going forward.
Yeah, to me,
and at one point it looked like you wondered where he was maybe going to fit into the team now.
Yeah. To me, it was more of a 4-1-4-1.
Yeah,
not a 4-4-2.
I mean, it was almost a 4-4-1-1 as well. You could even have looked at it.
Sure,
but let's not get caught up in formations. We know that Robo doesn't.
It's a starting point.
Yeah, I was really hoping that it was going to be a precursor to seeing Kamara and Blondell together. That the subs put paid to that, and we'll come to that later on as well. But the Caps did come out strong in the first half. Blondell looked lively. He had a long-range shot. Then he got a long ball over the top that he ran onto. And that had great effect in the previous match. And they tried it seemed, once, and then that was it. And they had a success with it, and they didn't seem to try it again. It was... Are
you calling for more balls over the top?
I love balls over the top. Long balls, run onto it, route one. Can't beat it.
It's part of your Scottish heritage.
But yeah, it's like watching East Fife.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it once in a while, but
it can work.
You can't use it all the time. That's the issue.
More than once would have been nice, though, I think. The Caps kept the pressure on though. From like Shuttleworth pulled out a save from a long range shot from Blundell. Caps kept the pressure on. Kendall had a really great chance then to open the score, and he needs to bury that. I mean, it was a free header, unmarked.
But he had to. The only issue I had with that, he had to stretch for the header.
Yeah.
And when you have to stretch for it, you can't really, put it in a certain spot. It's just going to go where it's going to go.
Well, okay, let me put it another way.
Shuttleworth was lucky to be on the line.
How much did he do wrong, and then how much of it was just pure luck that Shuttleworth just happened to be standing where he was? Because he didn't know much about it.
No, he was surprised as much as anybody that the ball would hit him.
But Kendall really should do better with that. At least he got it on target.
Yeah, I don't.
It'd be hard not to get it on target from that.
Yeah, I think I agree with Steve on this in terms of just the way he had to move his body and not enabling him to place it maybe where he would have wanted it.
Then we got one of my favourite things in football, a cross-cum shot.
Off the post.
YP lead it.
Yeah. Brett Levi's didn't clearly go for goal, but...
Wasn't it windy too? I think maybe the wind caught it or something like that.
It took a really weird kind of swerve. I thought it was maybe a deflection or whatever. But I mean, that was another close call. I thought we wanted to see it last week. Levi's and Davies linking up on that left side. We saw it this week, and they look good together.
Yeah, it was dangerous. They were both dangerous constantly throughout the game.
Yeah, I like the look of that. And we'll come to, obviously, what happened with Brett in the second half, but it's very promising. I like to see the two young guys, two Canadians. They've got a good understanding. Levi's, of course, is a left winger converted to a left back. So, I mean, he knows the game, and I think it's going to look well. But the rest of the first half, there wasn't really much to it. Minnesota weren't really threatening at all. Marinovic kind of spilled a ball that came in. I would call it a spill. But there wasn't really much danger of Minnesota doing anything. And you kind of thought, Whitecaps are looking good. They're looking lively. I fancied them to do it in the second half. I've got to say, at half-time, I was pretty confident we're going to see a Whitecaps win. Probably Breck Shea come on, score the winner, as he does on the road.
Yeah, I was a little bit less optimistic because of all the missed chances. Because whenever
I've been on holiday, though. I was still in a good mood.
Whenever they miss a lot of chances, it seems like that's the second half doesn't go well for them.
Well, that was about 2 years ago. That certainly was the case.
I actually took this game in a different way than I usually do. I was listening to your good friend Corey Basso and Canadian keeping legend Paul Dolan on the radio, and I too actually felt like, oh, this feels like a Vancouver away match that they very easily could nick one or more goals and walk away with all 3 points.
And then dramatic start to the second half. Now, Steve said when this happened, he thought, oh, it's going to be a loss or a draw.
I was thinking in jest to myself. I wasn't actually being serious. That's why I didn't tweet it out. I was going, oh, well.
Part of me, I have to say, did feel that, but I thought, 10 men now, the way they've played in the first half, Caps are going to go on. But what a stupid sending off.
Yeah,
like,
it was
idiotic. If that was one of our guys that did that, we would be roasting him.
It seemed like I don't think he thought the referee was looking and he thought he could get away with it.
He said afterwards that he had been getting tugged a lot and pulled, and that was how he reacted. Now, he is a rookie, so there's a bit of immaturity there, but still, you know you can't elbow someone.
You could tell by how he went off.
Yeah.
Like when I watched the game back on the PVR.
Didn't even wait to see if there was going to be a
he
VAR.
knew what he did, and he knew that that wasn't going to get overturned.
And we're going to hear from Adrian Heath in part 2, and I can't remember if I left this bit in from Heath or not, but he basically said that it's a stupid thing to do. When players come back, maybe he sits out a few games now, and it's something that he needs to learn. He hasn't seen a replay because I hadn't shown it, but he said that if it was what was said, then it's just sheer stupidity because it could have cost them all 3 points. And you have to feel, when a team that hasn't been mustering much goes down to 10 men, they're either going to bunker and get everyone behind the ball.
That's what they did.
Yeah. Or try and hit on the counter. 2
lines of 4.
I wasn't surprised by how they reacted.
No,
I had the actually opposite feeling of you, Steve.
They played perfect.
I thought for sure Vancouver. For sure. Now it was almost like now there's no excuse. They need to take 3 points from this game.
Yeah, but they've done other games where other teams have bunkered down and they haven't been able to break them down.
I know.
The Galaxy game, like we were talking about earlier, that team bunkered down. They had no chance of breaking them down.
That's the thing. They cannot break down teams this year at all.
But they showed a little bit here. They just weren't able to finish.
I think, though, going forward, any time that Blundell is starting, I'm going to put money on a sending off because it seems like a surefire bet. 10 minutes, though, after that sending off.
And I think this is because they were lulled to sleep because they didn't think Minnesota was going to do anything with it.
Terrible defending yet again. Poor Brett Levi's caught out. I mean, there's...
Okay, you got something to say about this.
Right, well, let's set it up. Great initial cross by Gomez. He did really well. Franklin.
Go before that.
Could Franklin close down on him better?
Totally.
I think,
Yes, but before that, it was almost like a counter, right? It was almost like a little bit of a counter burst of energy from 3 or 4 of the Minnesota players. And I agree with that. The comment, Steve. I don't think Franklin definitely didn't cover himself in glory on how he defended the cross, which was one of the maybe the few things he actually did wrong in the game or in his time on a pitch so far this year. But that wasn't great. Now, if you watch again. Brett has just made a whole big run up the other field, and he's actually done great to get back initially.
Yeah, but he is watching the ball, and he's completely oblivious that Ibarra's behind him.
Also, who was cover? If he made that run, who should have been covering for him, and should have there been left?
Someone said to me that Kendall was ball watching as well and should have done better.
I think Marinovic was ball watching, and they were all called ball watching because they were lulled to sleep.
The worst for me was, first off, I think one of the reasons why Alfonso didn't think Brett needed help covering is because Brett made it back so fast. Yeah. So I think Alfonso and the rest of the people were like, okay, he's got that guy and whatever. Kendall was not as much the issue for me because he was at the near post of the cross. The person I am actually most frustrated with on this goal is actually Jose Aja. Because when you go back and you watch the replay, the shot comes in, and what's all Jose doing? He's standing there with his arm in the air, waiting for the offside to come, and that's where the rebound.
More infuriating when players are just standing with their hands up in the balls.
So yes,
in the net.
Brett did get beaten on that run at the back post. Yes, and that's not good. But Jose Aja standing there with his arm up while the guy's burying the rebound is inexcusable to me.
Yeah. I got to give Minnesota credit, though, because it was a great cross in. I mean, that's the kind of dangerous balls that we've just not been whipping in. And Ibarra kept on it. Great save by Marinovic to keep out the first effort. But, I mean, Ibarra kept on there, tucked it away. It was a good goal for Minnesota.
It would have been hard for Marinovic to do anything else, I felt.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. And then,
but like you said, a lot of ball watching there. A lot of people that shut off because they were expecting...
Hand in the air.
Yeah. They were expecting this to be easy, and they weren't expecting much from Minnesota.
But then I wrote in my match report that Robbo reacted to that by bringing on Kamara and Rayner. Now, first of all, he didn't react to that, he said, post-game. He said, which I can't remember if he said it on the radio or if he said it in the video that hasn't gone up, apparently. The post-game thing, but maybe it'll go up on Monday. But he apparently was saying that was always the plan, was to bring Reyna and Kamara on about the hour mark. Should he not be should his subs not be reacting to what's happening in the game and not planned something like that? And then why would you take Blondell off?
Yes,
when you've gone a goal down as well.
I agree with that. This was the opportunity to play those two together. You needed 2 goals. You didn't need a goal. You needed 2 goals. I was fine with Jordy for Nico.
Oh yeah,
that was fine. But the fact that Anthony came off for Kai was not a good substitution.
And the thing is Kai, not only does he head it in, but he's a good playmaker up top.
Yeah.
He finds teammates, and if he was able to connect with Blondell, it could have been a goal there. Of course, they had plenty of chances anyways, even with those.
Oh, yeah.
So who would you take? I would take Bernie?
I'd have taken off Bernie.
Oh, for sure. But he came off eventually anyways.
Yeah. But, I mean, you have to have left Blondell on with Kamara to see what they can do together.
Oh, for sure. And this was actually, I know I've said I haven't liked this virtually all season long, but if Bernie had been replaced by Kai and you had Tony and Kai on and you still wanted to bring on Breck, this would have been the one game I would have been like, yeah, sure, take off Brett Levi's. Take off the left back, and it would have been the perfect time.
Yeah, and because they're not going to be pushing after that at all. Yeah. Felipe was another guy that you could have taken off, and he got man of the match.
Did he play?
He
man of the
match, as announced this morning. A little bit late as well. But
in the wee hours of the morning when nobody was
maybe.
up.
When I saw that he had won it, I was the same as you. I was like, was he in that? Oh, yeah, he started that.
Maybe that American beer company was late with their payment.
But, I mean, both Reyna and Kamara had their chances. Reyna looked some of the best that he's looked all season. He was lively, one over the bar, cracked one off the bar. Kamara had a couple of chances from Levi's crosses.
That bar's pretty low because he has not looked good this season.
Yeah, that's true. Kamara, you feel, though, should have got
How many goals? At
least one of his shots on target.
I don't know if you saw his tweet after the game or yesterday or today. He was just like, that result is not what it should have been. We need to work harder, blah, blah, blah. This is the only time you'll see this kind of tweet from me this year, blah, 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 blah. It was very... I don't know if you could say owning it a little bit, but...
And I believe he'd lost his passport as well.
Yes, he tweeted about that as well, yeah.
I'm sure that wasn't him going, oh, sorry, I can't go back to Canada, guys. I don't have my passport.
No, but he should have scored multiple times.
Breck Shea nearly did, though, towards the end, with what has to be the save of the week, hopefully, because when it keeps us off the score sheet, at least it's nice if you've lost to the save of the week. Shuttleworth had a fantastic game.
If you had to choose someone who was solely the person who dictated the result of the game, I think Shuttleworth would be that person.
Well, let's bring us now closing the end of part 1 with the segment that you hate, Zach. We're going to keep this going. It's our fine lines moment of the match. Now, I explained it in the blurb I sent out last week, but you guys seemed a little bit confused by that. So what this is what moment in the match, whether you win or lose, could Carl Robinson maybe say, oh, you know what, that was where would he come up with his famous fine lines?
So
quote?
the fine line. First off, this is what I want to say about.
Oh,
this.
he's against it. He
know.
understood it completely.
I think I don't really like how people are using fine lines, and they're
Robo's not anymore. I believe he may have been told to cut down on how much he says that.
But the thing is, in the Kansas City game, when he was talking about that, when he was being interviewed, my belief, and I could be wrong, I haven't double checked with anyone or whatever, is he's talking about Reina's miss. I think that's what he's talking about in that thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know why people got on him so much. That was a close call.
Yeah.
That should have been a goal. Anyways. So if you're talking about what was the turning point in this game?
Yes.
Not the turning point. What could have been the turning point?
What was the missed opportunity?
For me, is the Kendall, because it was just like because while it obviously, like you said, it was unlucky that it didn't go in. It was such from a close range. It was a direct header. It was just unlucky that the Shuttleworth was there. Or lucky for him, actually.
What about you, Zach?
I don't want to participate in the fine lines moment, but I think there should have been, like I said, already said, multiple goals for Kai Kamara in the second half.
I would probably go with Kendall as well, but Reina hitting the bar, because I do feel if that had gone in, the Caps would have gone on and got the win.
Because that was earlier. That was like 70th-ish minute. Wasn't it?
Almost right when he came on.
Yeah,
a few minutes after.
That is...
Was that his first one or his second one? Because he had another one just went over. That was his second one.
That was his second one.
Yeah.
The first one just went over. And I know Rowe does get criticised for fine lines, and he does use it way too much, but there are some moments in games that you look back on, you go, you know what? That could have been the game-changing moment.
Yes.
And Reina hitting the bar, I think, might have been if it had gone in, because then you're looking at a whole different outlook of the team, and it's going to be an onslaught after that.
I think if Robbo had just used a thesaurus and used different versions of fine lines, I think everybody would lay off him a little bit.
I don't know, would they? Because
no, maybe not.
I haven't read a lot of Twitter in the last week, because I thought
wisdom.
Yeah, I just wanted to get away from stuff on holiday, so I haven't done a lot of that.
Did Caitlin comment how much more joyful you were in life?
Yeah,
I like to get away stuff when I'm at home.
But we'll be back with some more chat about the game and hear from both coaches and our player rankings after this.
Hi, I'm Cal Valentine. You're listening to the AFTN podcast.
Cause it get cold like Minnesota, cold like Minnesota, cold like Minnesota, cold like Minnesota. Need to stay up out them streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out them streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota, cold like Minnesota, cold like Minnesota. It get cold like Minnesota. Need to stay up out them streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out them streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota, riding around on bloaters. Money sitting up, it's it way above your shoulder.
It was not cold in Minnesota, despite what that song said. It was actually quite warm for the match, and Robo did allude to that in the radio interview that he did, where he said some of the players' boots were so hot and just burning. It's 25 degrees, so that didn't seem that hot to me, but I guess that turf does get super, super hot.
I'm sure it does, yeah. But at least I think remember somebody saying like it goes 5 degrees higher in
sometimes way more.
Yeah, because the players, what he said was that they were watering their boots because they were so hot, and then that was causing problems for their feet and their boots and sizing and sticky and whatever.
Anyway, you're back listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio. So we're going to play you some audio now from both head coaches. Adrian Heath talked for a long time, so I've cut that down to about 3 minutes.
Shocking that.
He had some good stuff and a really funny bit at the end, which I did leave in. And then the Robo audio, which, I don't know, when I last looked, it wasn't up on the site. Lots of folk were complaining today that the scrum wasn't up. I'm sure it will go up, but we'll play a little bit of that for you now. So this might be the first of some of you hearing it. So here is Adrian Heath and Carl Robinson.
He's the gaffer. You can try it on with him. He's the gaffer. Even when he's on a limb. He's the gaffer. When his back's against the wall. Has the answer to it all. He's the gaffer.
I thought it was a monumental effort considering how long we played a man down, but the team that we played, they're the biggest team probably in the league. And I thought the players. Every single one of them put themselves on the line so many times with the crosses that were coming in the box, and Boxy, and then Wyatt came on, and Carter, and it was all hands to the pump. But we went through it ourselves against Atlanta here, and it's difficult when everybody packs it in. But I thought the effort from the players. I was really pleased with some of our first half play. I thought some of our attacking play and combination play was excellent, and then Bobby come up with an incredible save. I'm right behind it, and at one stage it's like 2 or 3 feet outside the post, so it's going in top corner, and for him to get his hand on it was an incredible save. And he's done that the last couple of weeks when we've needed him. So overall, incredibly proud of the players. It was a really big result for us, and now we hopefully keep this momentum going.
True. So then how did you have to readjust the game plan without the...
Well, the hard part is when you've got Darwin, because Darwin wants to play with the ball all the time, so you haven't really got that outlet to go in behind, and everything that you play is short, and you invite people to come and pressure the ball. But I thought some of our play and some of the, Miggy and Alexi Gomez, I thought I did great start as well. Put some great balls in the box, looked dangerous on the counter-attack, did a really good shift when we needed to, when we were all, when we were defending like we did. But because of their sheer size, we changed the shape and went to like a 5-3-1, if you like, and said, okay, you can get it wide, but we'll try and defend the box. And we did that terrifically. Had we not changed it, I think they would have still got enough ball in the box, and just by sheer size, I think they would have got something. So it turned out okay in the end.
Is there a message for Mason?
Yeah, he's silly boy. I don't know if he's done it or what he's done, but if he has, he could have cost his teammates, and he'll learn his lesson. And if 2 or 3 people may be fit, maybe he doesn't play the next game and he loses his spot. So it's silly. And if he elbowed him, he deserved to get the red card. If he did, we'll have a chat about that.
How do you feel Bobby played today?
He's come up massive with 2 big saves last 2 weeks. And that is the sign of a goalkeeper that you need when he either saves you a couple of points or he wins you a game, and that saved us 2 points today.
You ever had a delay like that with the home today?
No, not with. No, I can't remember. I was going to say something that might have been funny, but no. I'll see you later. Thank you.
Was super disappointed because I didn't think we got what we deserved. I thought we kept them at bay for 90 minutes really, limited them to a number of shots and missed a number of chances, and one lapse of concentration cost us at the end with the back post with the young boy. But sometimes in football that happens, and when you give a team something to hold on to, then it becomes difficult. But we kept knocking at the door. Unfortunately, we were unable. We missed a couple of chances, and we have to take the defeat on the chin.
It seemed like the first 45 you guys had a number of chances, but just unable to break through. What did you make of the first half?
I thought they were excellent in the first half. I thought we just missed the lack of quality in the final third without giving too much away at the back end of the pitch. I think the second half was the same again. I think the tempo of the way we played, they went down to 10 men, but we started the game very well in the second half. And when you give a goal away with 10 men, down to a goal away with a team that's down to 10 men, it's very hard because they block up areas, and they did that. And credit to them because they didn't give anything away. But we've got to be on another day we can score 4 or 5 goals.
What did you see from the goal?
Well, as I said, if you switch off at the back post, you get caught sometimes, and it was a lapse of concentration. But there won't be any, shouting and ranting at Raven. The boy had a very good game, Brett Levi. I thought he was excellent. He supplied a great cross for Kai, who should have scored. You want chances, and when you create chances and don't take them, it's unfortunate that you give one up the other end.
You used 4-4-2 today. Just how do you think the system worked?
I thought they were good. I thought they did everything that I wanted to, except for score a goal. And obviously concede a goal at the other end. So there's a lot of strong performances there. I'm proud of the way they played and committed to the game. Unfortunately, we didn't get the result we wanted or we thought we could get.
Nice to have Kai back.
Yeah, I'm sure Kai's happy and disappointed in there. On another day, he could have had a hat-trick. I think the chances that fell for him are what is Kai's bread and butter. So he'll be disappointed, but it's important that he's back for the group.
And now 3 of the next 4 at BC Place, just an opportunity to move up the standings there.
It's the next game. I talk to you all the time about the next game, and people have their ideas and views and opinions. My boys were great today, performance-wise, executed in every aspect of the game except for putting the ball in the back of the net. So we'll regroup this week, and we'll look forward to next week's game.
He's the gaffer. You can try it on with him. He's the gaffer. Even when he's on a limb. He's the gaffer. When his back's against the wall, has the answer to it all.
the gaffers there talking about the Minnesota-Vancouver game. And as Robo said, they did everything he asked for them apart from score and keep the ball out the net. Two important things, but yeah.
Yeah. I in the climate of where things are at right now, yeah, I think when they do put that up, people will not be happy.
Well, anything he says now is going to get picked to pieces.
Which is unfortunate because I like Steve, we were just saying, I thought they actually played a good game. They just could not finish.
Yeah, they did.
And they had one lapse at the back.
Yeah.
And if it had been a draw against 11 men, or if they'd lost 1-0 to 11 men, it may not have felt so bad because of how well they did play. But because it was against 10 men, that kind of clouds it all in the minds of a lot of people.
I think that takes it to a different place. You're right, Michael. But still, that Minnesota team with 11 players, if they had 11 players, that you still would have felt hard done by.
They were so depleted.
Because not just 11 players, but how they actually played. I don't think Minnesota played well.
I'll read a couple of tweets here before we move on. One from Greg Petrie at Our Dumb World, who says, Robinson doesn't have the budget of some teams, but this loss had nothing to do with his budget and everything to do with his managerial style. That's becoming the increasing trend. I wouldn't trust him with a bigger budget.
Okay. When you go back and watch that game, can you really say that maybe one substitution could have been done differently? But that game is on the players who missed the chances.
Which is what I say a lot.
Yeah, but I do say that one other decision for me is Nicholas Mosqueda, putting him in the starting lineup. I know you want to reward him for a previous thing, but we've seen it time and time again. Whenever he's a starter, it doesn't work out well.
So one difference in the starting lineup and one sub difference.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, you do have to question the tactics and the strategy and the way that certain players are utilised or not utilised to their best.
But still, in this specific game, they created way more
and
than
that's
enough.
on the players to finish those.
Totally.
Better. Yeah.
And this one for me, people are only putting it on the coaching staff because of the climate and because of their perception of where things are at.
Essentially, it is a piling on.
I'll just read a couple of tweets here from Austin Sweeney. He says, I'm not a fan of the robo-bashing. He's been an excellent servant to the club and great to the fans. Yes, we need a new manager because I don't think he's at the level that he can take us any further. His tactics and player selection, both starting and subs, aren't good enough, but the blame is far from his feet alone. Management, front office, owners are more so responsible for setting such a low bar and disregarding the fans. Not that he's been anywhere near what Wenger was for Arsenal. I think neither man deserve the personal abuse that they get. Robo's done a lot for us, won us our first Voyagers Cup, a few Cascadia Cups, CONCACAF Champions League semi-final appearance, and our best season in MLS. It's time for a change, but don't forget the good he has brought us as well.
That I would probably disagree with a little part of that, but still, that's a more well-balanced perspective than you're going to find on Twitter right now.
I think that's excellent. Let's just chat a little bit more to finish off this part just about the game, then we will move on to other things. Now, last week I was kind of pondering whether the RSL win was simply papering over the cracks. It wasn't something that you guys got around to talking about, but does this loss tear that paper back off again, or do you just put it down to bad finishing? And do you feel the RSL game is papering over cracks?
I think it is a little bit because of the possession issue, because they're not able to hold on to the ball. The thing is, we talk about injuries and stuff like that, people getting tired and worn down. When you're chasing the ball around, you are going to get tired and you are susceptible to more injuries because you're just running around chasing the ball all the time. So they need to hold on to the ball to not only maintain their ability to play for longer and their ability to stay healthy. I think it has a major thing, a major issue there, possessing the ball. And I think that is going to be a big issue even going down the road. Yes, they have a deeper squad, but why not have a more consistent squad if you can hold on to the ball?
But Steve, in this game they had the 57% possession.
Well, that's in the second half.
That's after they setting off. The first half, Minnesota dominated the possession.
It was 60-40, but they still had the better of the play.
They had the better of the play on the counter-attack, yeah. they also outshot Minnesota 19-4, which is what we've been talking about, and you have to do better with that. And it's something that's haunted us for seasons with different players. So, I mean, is that then more down to the way that the team plays? It can't constantly be all these players we're bringing in that just can't finish chances. Are they not set up in the right way to win and to convert these chances?
Yeah, to answer your original question, Michael, is it papering over the cracks? For me, to just go ahead and change a manager or a member of the coaching staff, that would be papering over the cracks, because the problems
that's
the problems
a
are
quick fix.
As Austin said, the problems are further up in this football club, and if you don't fix those things, it's going to be more of the same.
Poor defending on the goal. We touched on that. Do you keep the same back four now moving forward? Franklin and Levi's, you can point fingers at for the goal. I think they did well apart from that, and I would go with them moving forward.
I would if you're going to rotate the midfield, then you're going to rotate the fullbacks, and I don't think you're going to have consistent fullbacks because you want. And maybe this gets when Jake and Marcel de Jong come on. Maybe it gets them going up the field more, because they know that they're not going to be playing every game, so they can put all their effort into the game that they play in.
That would be an interesting approach, and I think that could be extremely helpful. Yeah, I was a little surprised that Marcel didn't come back in for this game.
I thought Brett would, just because he had done so well, and Robo sang his praises so much after the RSL game that.
But I thought that because of the cramps, I thought because of the cramps he got in the 60th minute, maybe they were going to hold him out one more game. But he played a full 90.
And he did admit it's something that's plagued him his whole career, really, is cramps, which is a little bit worrying.
I also think because of the fact that you're going to have two games. I think a game next week and then midweek game. You're definitely going to have some kind of rotation there with the fullbacks.
Yeah, the Houston
Friday,
game
Wednesday,
could be the tougher of the two, and we'll come to that in a bit as well. But we touched on it in the first part. A lot of different formations used this year. What is the ideal one for us? Is there an ideal one for us, or is it a good idea to change all these formations based on the opposition?
I think, I don't know. It's hard to not see them starting off in like a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-1-4-1. We've talked about this in the past. I really thought it was going to happen on the weekend, but it would be nice to see you have two players. You have Tony and Kai, who are both. They probably both prefer to play a number 9, but they both have played, from what I understand, wide. And that's why one of the reasons why even and Kai totally has. So a number of Kai's MLS goals at Kansas City were because he was a winger, and he was this huge winger who would tower over small fullbacks on back post crosses, and he would have a field day. And so he naturally would rather be in the middle, and for multiple reasons. But I really thought that could happen in the game, whether he came on and played wide or he went in the middle and Tony went outside. So I really want to see that. I really just want to see what that looks like. I don't know that they're going to do that at home when they feel like they have to win, and so they'll stick with what they maybe think is tried and tested. And then if it goes to a away game, then it becomes like the 3-5-2, where you're like, oh, if it has a horrendous thing, like the snow game last year, and it's like, we'll never go back to that because we have this dark, dreary memory of what it was. So I worry that that's the only way that might happen, and that might taint it. But I think 4-3-2-1 is going to continue to be their kind of mainstay, or 4-1-4-1.
Now, Juarez wasn't back in the team. Didn't come on as a sub either. Now, was that tactical, or was that a message being sent, or maybe a bit of both?
Well, I don't think it was. If you're thinking message because of the disciplinary issue, I think then Reyna wouldn't have came on, because Reyna was the one that basically started that fracas in Kansas City with a throwdown.
Yeah,
but Reyna's was a little bit.
Well, he grabbed him by the neck and threw him to the ground. I think that's.
He kind of grabbed him. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But it was a take.
Let's not go back.
Let's not go back there.
Okay, but I don't think it was. I think it was. They had to go for it, and I think they realized that Juarez is not a guy that's going to be in the attacking side.
I think that's the bigger part. You're right. See, that's the bigger part. Is Jordy offers more going forward than FE does.
Yeah. Now, there was no movement from the Caps before the transfer window closed.
What?
I know. Well, Justin Fides went to Fresno.
Right.
So I guess you could say there was that. But no players
for
came
him.
in, no players came out, and he started as well. In the
I
weekend.
thought Fresno doesn't start Whitecaps players.
No, it started 2 for Hoven and Fiddis.
Oh, that's right.
But there were some big hitters and a lot of salary on the bench to start that game on Saturday. Shea, Reyna, Juarez, Kamara. Obviously, we know Kamara was just coming back from the injury, and we've kind of talked ad nauseum about how it feels that the money is maybe not the best spent and there's not a lot getting spent, but is that the efficiency that the front office craves to have all those salaries on the bench?
Well, it's funny that you've seen that word now. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but that word is being used in Seattle now.
Yes.
By Garth Lagerway. Like,
it's spreading
he backtracked big time on it.
It's spreading like a disease.
We're not the big five. We're not going to spend. We need to be more efficient. I was just like, oh man.
Which is funny because we usually hold Seattle up as, we're not like Seattle.
Well, except for the first year when they're like, Seattle is going to look like a picnic compared to what. Yeah,
maybe.
But
it just doesn't seem cost effective to have those big names on the bench. But rightly, some of them are on the bench because they're not the best players just now. So then you have to question, is the money being spent wisely? We're never going to compete. We're not going to splash the big cash. So we have to spend what we're spending in a good way, and it just doesn't feel like we have.
It feels early to judge that on like this on the whole squad, but
yeah.
I think based on this game, I'm like,
the whole. It feels harsh in a number of ways to criticise a team that's sitting third in the West as well.
True.
But technically, points per game, they're down in 7th.
Right.
So, but as usual, we had our rankings. So let's see what the listeners thought. Ranking full stop.
Chris did a pretty good job last week, filling in for you.
Sami Zayn would like this.
Who?
Oh, you don't know.
He's a wrestler.
Okay. So, again, rankings. Thanks for everybody that chimed in.
What's been catching your eye this week, Steve? Oh, sorry, that's a wrong part.
So, we'll go from the bottom. Again, we don't put in subs for these bottom 3. But bottom 3 is Bernie Beanie, who was apparently starting. Jose Aja was second from the bottom, and Sean Franklin, third from the bottom.
Interesting.
And from the top 5, as usual. Oh, do you want to go 5 to 1?
5 to 1.
5 to 1.
Don't know why you like going 1 to 5.
I don't know.
It's very confusing.
Kendall Waston at number 5. Number 4, Brett Levi's. Even though he had the mistake, people still.
That's what I was interested.
I think those might have been the Saskatchewan votes.
Yeah.
Ali Gazal at number 3. Anthony Blundell, number 2, and Alfonso Davies, as usual, number 1.
Let's just give him the trophy now.
The only way he doesn't get it is if he gets transferred in the summer.
that was interesting. Some of those, I have to say.
Okay, so again, usual questions we pose now. How many players get a passing grade? 0 to 3 was number 1 with 55%. 4 to 7, 38%. And then 8 to 10 was 7%. And all of them got nothing. Where would you put the coaching staff? 10 to 14 got first with 48%. 15th got 31%. And then 5 to 9 got 17%. 1 to 4 got a couple of votes. What was the main reason for the loss against Minnesota? Lack of finishing, combination, inspired goalkeeping, or other. Lack of finishing got 58.
I was going to say, why did you read any of the other ones after lack of finishing?
I don't know, because this is the order that they came in. I should have. Combination was 32, and 10% was other. Inspired goalkeeping got 0 votes. So nobody really rates Bobby Shuttleworth.
I don't rate him either, but he had a good game.
A final question: was this the right starting lineup? No, got 45%. Not sure, got 30%, and yes, got 25%.
That's closer as well.
Yeah,
I thought it would maybe have been. 2 big games coming up now at home. Houston on Friday, San Jose on Wednesday. Are we in make or break territory yet for Robbo, or just to kind of build this narrative up, or is it way too early?
Well, it's home games, so the home games themselves are make or break. They need to win those games. They can't drop points anymore at home.
And
honestly.
2 teams below them in the table.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, Houston's pretty impressive right now.
Yeah, they are below them, but they've played less games.
Houston has not been good in Vancouver.
Not recently, no.
But not
ever actually.
They have weapons, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Kyoto is like getting in form for them.
Yes.
And when you got the Panther
really
at the back post on the other side, they got some good players.
I mean, the San Jose game is definitely winnable. The Houston game you'd hope is winnable because they haven't won anything on the road yet. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Briefly, just to round this section off, what changes would you like to see in the starting lineup?
Well, you expect Kamara to start.
Yeah.
That's first. I'd like to see, even if Blundell doesn't... I think Blundell probably won't start because they'll probably start him for the other game. Because I don't think they want to start Kamara twice in a week either because of the injury. Coming back from it.
I don't know if they're going to start Kamara for the first one.
Oh, really?
Really? I think they will.
Because they had him, the initial starting return date was May 11th. He posted that on there. So
he looked rusty, not Tybert. But he did look a little rusty, so I think he needs to get a run and a start to kind of just...
So, but if he gets a start, expect to see him come off between 60 and 70.
Oh, yeah. That's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, I expect to see Rusty back in there.
That's for sure, yeah.
Yeah, who's back in. And then, like you said, Steve, it could be interesting to see if they do like a fullback swap or alter or...
Yeah, there's probably a good chance that they might change one for one match and then one for the other.
I could see that. I think Marcel would start on the Friday against Houston. By the way, when I said Panther, I was expecting you guys to talk about Albert Elith because he's your favorite.
Albert Ellis?
Yeah.
Good guy.
Well, we'll be talking a little bit about Houston and some of the other MLS stuff in part 3, and we'll be back with that after this.
Hi, I'm Alphonso Davies, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
Were you elevated by that song, Steve?
I was.
Zach has no idea what that is. Do you want to explain to him?
Is this more the guys in tights and the...
Yeah, it is. Of course it is.
Of course.
It's Will Ospreay's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Will.
He shares it with Owen Hart, too.
He's English, but I still quite like him. I do like some English folk.
Okay, wait, is Owen Hart Bret Hart's brother?
Yes.
Okay, I remember him from back
in the day. He passed away.
Did he really?
A long time ago.
Oh.
Yeah, he died in the ring in a horrible accident.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, I remember Brett and Owen, they were tag team partners like way back, right?
Yes, the Hart Foundation.
Yeah. See, that was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's when you're supposed to watch that stuff, right? When you're a kid?
Yeah. Isn't that also when you're meant to play with Lego?
No. That's a lifelong thing.
But the thing is, if it's only kids are watching the wrestling, how do you think they're still in business? Because kids don't make that much money.
Yeah.
No, because they have parents.
You like good parents like Steve that takes his kid to the wrestling.
My first wrestling show was with him. I'd never gone to a wrestling show before that.
My first wrestling show was with his kid as well. And Steve. Just to stress, I didn't just take Steve's kid for the day. Although if I can get me some free stuff, I will try that. Anyway, you are listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio. We are broadcasting from the University of British Columbia. Students listening in with their Kurt Cobain posters on the wall on one side of their room, their Zachary Meisenheimer posters on the other.
I think your references are really old. I don't think it's Kurt Cobain.
Well, you did mention that last week when I asked you for the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
I was setting you up because I thought somebody would say that the win over RSL was A New Hope.
Oh, yeah.
No.
But you didn't do that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We missed that cue.
If it was just titles, then it wouldn't have been that.
No. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, when Joe was here, we stole something from his preview show, the Do You Know Who I Am section, and Zach enjoyed that a lot. So I thought, it's a quiet week, there's not much to talk about.
Did you like how on the preview show they credited me with getting the name right?
Yes, and not Steve. But anyway, now it's time to play once again, Do You Know Who I Am? So I thought I would mix it up and make it a little bit different from what they do in the preview show. So the person you have to guess today is an East Fife legend.
God damn it.
Obviously a joke.
Stop. Oh, no, okay.
You just in general, just stop.
I was going to say...
You just say Gordon Forrest?
Yeah, I was going to say Gordon Forrest.
Well, funny you should say that, because this is an MLS coach that you have to guess this week. So not a player.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying
current MLS coach?
Current coach. I'm not saying whether it's a head coach, a goalkeeping coach, or an assistant coach. Just keep that open. So you'll get 7 clues. You can answer once after each clue if you want. If you want to answer, say stop. And as we discovered the last time, it's great radio dead air time, this section of the show. Clue number 1. I was born on December 29th, 1972.
Oh, so it could be a coach on any MLS team.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to narrow it down. December 29th.
Not necessarily a Whitecaps coach, because that would really narrow it down.
Yeah.
The look on his face.
I know it threw him off when I
Okay.
said that.
Clue number 2. I was an attacking player in my playing days, and I played as a midfielder and forward.
Stop. This is the first thought that came into my mind, so it might be dead wrong. I'm going to say Preki.
No.
He's not an MLS coach?
He's not
I don't think he's a
present
current coach. Yeah, I
All
don't
right.
think he is.
No, but
Oh, yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not
it's
right
good.
now.
Entering into the spirit. Clue number 3. I played for 2 MLS sides in my 12 seasons in the league.
I have no idea. I don't know who's a coach.
Our MLS section next is going to be good.
Yeah. Go ahead. Next.
Oh, okay, I thought someone would guess.
We would
Well,
have said-
I have a guess, but I don't think it's right.
well, you can guess. And
Okay, I'll say stop. Jason Christ.
Correct.
Hey, okay.
There you go.
You shouldn't have encouraged him.
Yeah. No, well,
Okay.
thought the segment
What were
would
the
be
other
over
clues?
soon.
What were the other clues?
The other 4 clues were, I am an MLS original and played in the league from its first season of existence in 1996, scoring 115 goals in 341 appearances. I am in the top 10 of most regular season wins as a coach. He is 7th with 103. I am currently managing my 3rd MLS club. And the last one, I became the youngest coach to win an MLS Cup when I won it in 2009.
Oh, I see. I would have got it there.
Yeah. I the 12 years threw me off a little bit because I thought that was too short, but...
I'll make sure I have this section every time we move up for the trance guy, just to kind of keep that audience. And also, Har loves that Ronnie Pickering thing as well. So that one's for you, Har. She's sitting at home, listening just now. Hopefully. Someone is, I'm sure. Anyway, now it's time for our MLS West Week in Review. The Caps may have lost, but they stay in 3rd.
Yeah, because not another team have won.
And as I mentioned earlier, 7th though in terms of points per game. But it's better to have the points on the board than in your back pocket.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say... Those,
Can you repeat that again?
Those are the same thing? Having them on the board in your back pocket.
No, well...
The games in hand are in your
yes.
back pocket.
Okay.
That's where you keep your games in hand.
That's where I keep it, lots of things.
Okay.
I have bulging back pockets. Look at my ass. Bulging. The action started LAFC and Dallas. 1-0 draw. Former Whitecaps
Beta.
opened the scoring, 9th minute.
With all that talent, the one guy you don't expect to score.
Yeah.
Great finish. No, it was a nice finish.
Maxi Urruti. He was excellent, actually, in the game for Dallas. He tied it up in the 55th.
And they were missing players too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
New addition, Lee Wynn, was on the LA bench. And don't want to talk too much, really, about the LA Dallas game. It was 1-1, so what? But this Wynn signing, does this move LAFC up to another level? They had a lot of talent as it was.
Yeah.
Is this now the final piece that they were needing to make this team title contenders?
I still think they're going to be weak on the back end. There's going to be games where they're solid, and then they'll be able to overcome it. But there are going to be and I don't even think it's the center backs. I think it's the midfielders playing in front of the center backs.
I think what this helps with the most is when the World Cup comes.
Yeah.
And they lose Carlos Vela, they lose Simon, they lose I don't know, are they losing Rossi? I can't remember.
No, I don't think Rossi's going.
Yeah.
Mark Anthony Kate on.
Oh yeah, right. So I think that's when this will help the most in terms of creating offense. You're right, Steve. It won't help at the back. I think when Simon goes to the World Cup, they're going to have, even though he is a kind of last-ditch diving, sliding defender, like I'm surprised he got up from sliding on the Teixeira, juke in time to go to LA. But when he's gone, like I don't have great hope. Maybe Jordan Harvey will play center back.
It's going to be Kevin Keegan style 5-4 games probably.
Yeah.
At least entertaining to watch. Now, we had a question on Twitter from Gareth Wolf, which was for the preview show, but they didn't get a chance to get to it, so we'll discuss it now. Should the Whitecaps have made a play to try and bring Wynn back here? Would he have been accepted because of kind of the cloud that he left last time?
I don't know if he would have wanted to come back here, first of all. You don't know that.
Yeah.
And
not so sure he even wanted to be here to begin with, really.
And I think I could remember somebody on Twitter saying that they thought that Cumiento was going to be the guy that was going to play as the creative guy, and then that's why they felt he was surplus and they got rid of him.
I think Slamo might have said that.
Somebody said that. I can't remember who said that.
Yeah. It was, I remember talking to the players, and the players with let's say the highest footballing IQ in that side were just gobsmacked that they
just got rid of him.
Yeah, they just got rid of him for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That's not to minimize, what he said and what he shouldn't have said, all that. Nothing about that. But who he was as a player, they just could not believe that they just shipped him out for absolutely nothing. The bigger problem for me, Steve, you made a good point. Would he want to come here? Yeah, I think highly unlikely.
Yeah.
I don't think this Whitecaps front office football committee, they're not the kind of people who hold up their hand and say, oh, yeah, we got that wrong. Let's make it right. They're not that kind of people. You talk to supporters and how they have to deal with them and stuff like that. They're not that kind of people. So I would not see at all. Like when you look, like it was like a year. It was like, not a year. It was a long time before they started showing Eric Hastley goals in some of their highlight packages after he left, because they always try and distance themselves from their former players if they're concerned about the perception or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they would be able to swallow their pride and say, oh yeah, we got that wrong. Let's bring him back now.
Lee Wynn, though, did provide me, and I've talked about this before in the podcast, with one of my favourite MLS memories of the Whitecaps.
Not being able to find the television?
Yeah, where he tweeted out that there was no television in his room.
And then someone said,
have you tried opening the
cabinet?
Yeah.
That was all in that ill-fated...
Maybe his football IQ was better than his normal IQ, or at least for TVs. Next game was a draw.
Seattle,
Columbus.
Yeah.
And there I was thinking this at the time, and then I think Duncan tweeted about it. Duncan Nickel tweeted about it, but just like when I watched the highlights from this game, when I watched parts of this game, it was just like it almost like didn't make, I don't know, made me feel a little bit like not as bad about how bad Vancouver's weekend went.
Yeah,
because like, Seattle played at home too. I think
they were at home, and
Pedro Santos got sent off 15 minutes in.
Yeah,
that's a whole like more minutes.
and their chances were
not good with math.
Their chances. The chances they created were not nearly as good.
No, 10 men. They couldn't beat 10 men.
And then Will Bruin had some interesting comments afterwards too.
Yeah, I'm just getting that up just now. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Michael loves Will Bruin. If you're new to the show,
I think we're both actually in that camp.
Oh, you love Will Bruin?
I
too?
wanted to draft him in the first year. I think he was drafted in 2011.
7th?
Something like that.
I forget what number.
No, maybe after 8, because the
He's
Whitecaps had 8.
That was
Nanchov was 8.
Everywhere that he's gone, he scores goals. That's the thing. Obviously, he'd come here and then wouldn't. That seems to be the norm. But he said we were too predictable. We didn't even try to play through the final third. I think everyone in the stadium knew we were going to try and push it wide and try to cross it. You've got to find other ways to try to create chances. We just haven't been able to do that. We've got to be willing to take chances, get some creativity, some flair, move the ball quicker, got to pass and move, try and say things, and he just goes on.
Wait. What player does this team?
Will Bruin.
What team does he play for?
Seattle.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, basically, he ends up by going, if you can't tell, I'm pretty frustrated right now. Now, that's damning stuff.
People are beginning to question, like your friends you hang out with there in Middle Cascadia, whether or not, they're starting to Brian started lost the players in their locker room a little bit.
Yeah, it does look that way, and I haven't had a chance to fully read Twitter tonight, but there's been a lot of chatter about Schmitzer's job in danger. I mean, I said with Orlando, and we'll come to them at the end of this section, that they were on a run that they got a win that I think saved the bacon of Christ. And now, 6 wins in a row for them. But we'll come to that. Our opponents on Friday, Houston.
Had a pretty good showing.
Finding form just when we want them to. 3-2 win over LA Galaxy, who are not in the best of form themselves. Alejandro Fuamayor. I murdered that as usual. Anyway, he got them off to a great start 2 minutes in. Side footing home a Kyoto free kick. Really bizarre. It was flagged for offside.
And then
it was given.
Yeah. It wasn't offside.
No. It was a great run by him.
There was a guy close to him that
he was off. Gio DeSantis brought LA level 6 minutes before half time.
Put in a rebound off a Zlatan shot.
Yeah, Kamara did well. He set it up. He picked the ball at the halfway line. Then, 2 minutes into the second half, Houston scored again from Kyoto. And as you said, Kyoto's really started to find its form. Kamara must have thought he'd got a point for LA 5 minutes from time.
Yep.
But someone didn't get the memo. Memo Rodriguez. 90th minute winner. After Kyoto's shot hits the bar, fell into his path. I think I could have probably bundled it home. 16 shots for Houston, 9 of them on target. How big a threat are they to the Caps next week?
I think they will be a threat.
Yeah, they don't travel well.
They don't travel well.
No wins at all.
It seems like they don't take a plane at all. That's how badly they travel. It's like maybe go by cart.
they have so many big offensive weapons. Like their front three is imposing. And,
this would be a good game for us to go 3 at the back.
And dynamic. I don't think so, actually. I don't. Were you just joking?
I was joking.
Okay.
Could you not tell by the word 3 at the back?
Yeah. It looks so promising in preseason at times. Didn't
I don't know. But Zlatan, I mean, LA, 3 straight losses, 4 defeats in the last 5. See? A big name signing does not solve everything.
Because you have to have balance and you have to have people at the back too. They're giving up way so many goals.
Yeah, I've said this before, but about LA, I still think they're digging themselves out of the Bruce Arena situation there.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, we have some audio now from Ziggy Schmidt after the loss.
Oh no!
So Ziggy, I mean, how did you feel about that loss?
We'll have to cut that out. That probably won't make the podcast.
Yeah, well.
Oh, will it?
That'll be the start of next week's show. Anyway.
You might have blown the speakers here.
Houston have not had the same result 2 games running all year.
Yeah.
Win, loss, draw, win, loss, win.
That means they'll win for us.
Do you think they'll break it and get the double win?
No, I'm saying we'll win.
Oh, we'll win.
That's what it means.
Do you think we'll win, Zach?
Draw?
No, win.
I'm gonna leave win.
No, LAFC.
The Goats?
Are you down with them?
Sure.
I've had a lot of hickory sticks before the show tonight. Slightly too many. Kansas City kept up their great start at the top of the table. 1-0 win over Colorado.
They're playing at home against Colorado, so you expect them to win this one.
Daniel Saloy fired home a rebound. Also had one off the post. It was a weaker rebound, really. It wasn't really much in this game. It was a bit of a disappointing game all round if you were a neutral. But
it was not a good game.
No, 3 straight losses for Colorado now as well.
Shocking.
So we're in a good club. We haven't got 3 straight losses, but we had 3 straight losses. San Jose and Portland. That was another game that was not that good. But Timbers made it 3 wins and 3 after Valeri scored 2 minutes from time.
Nice goal.
Cracking free kick.
Yeah.
That's a difference maker.
What's he on? 2 point something? Or is it more than that? 4 point something? I forget now. It's 2 point something.
I can't remember. Very defence-minded match, really. Portland's the most formed team in the West right now, though. So, I mean, it does show you that it is easy to turn things around.
And they let that Liam Ridgewell guy back play for them again.
3 straight wins, as I said, for the Timbers. Minnesota is the only other team in the West just now with a multiple game winning streak. 2.
Wow.
So
In the West.
It just shows you that the West is still very up for grabs, which makes these points that we've lost disappointingly in games like away in RSL and then this game in Minnesota just so frustrating.
Speaking of RSL,
yeah,
they also dropped points.
They took the lead today.
Took the lead. They hit a couple posts.
It was Corey Baird who hit the post for against us, but scored.
Your favorite guy in that match, yeah.
Not Corey Basso.
No.
But then
he's my favorite guy.
Yeah.
Orlando came back and like basically within 18 minutes scored 3 goals and took the game.
6 games on the bounce.
Yeah.
They're looking good.
Dwyer again.
See? Difference maker.
I hear he likes popcorn.
Oh.
Huh. Especially BC Place popcorn.
Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten all about that. Yeah, so eventful stuff in the West. And Houston, San Jose coming up. 2 big games for the Caps. We won't step on the preview podcast too much, but just
Joel told me he loves it when people step on his toes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he's Irish. They've got a bit of a sadomasochistic streak in them. Quick prediction. What do you think from the game? I'll kick things off then. 1-1.
I was going to say a draw.
Well, if you'd said that,
I'll say 2-1 Vancouver.
I think it'd be a draw. Maybe 0-0 or 2-2.
Anyway, we'll be back with more chat after this.
Hi guys, this is Felipe. Thanks for listening AFTN.
An empty house. So hold my hand, I'll walk with you, my dear. The stars creak, I should sleep, it's keeping me awake. It's the house telling you to close your eyes. And some days I can't even.
Pizza!
You like the commercial, I guess.
The thing is, that commercial won't be in the podcast, so me yelling pizza will mean very little to people, but you are listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio. And now it's time for everyone's favourite part of the show.
Yeah, it is. It is favourite part of mine.
Wavelength time. Don't know what you guys were going on about last week about Panini songs. That song had nothing to do with Panini.
Yeah, but you gave us no information when you sent it out.
I thought you would have listened to it.
No, I didn't.
I like how you, when you put out the podcast, you edited out your part.
Yeah, I had to edit out my introduction.
I thought you were going to edit our introduction.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
Yours was better. But if I didn't have
yours was way exponentially better.
I didn't know that Chris was on until too late and I'd sent all the stuff off. I had a Grimsby themed song that I could have had last week. So next time he's on,
Chris would have loved that.
Yeah, we will do that. It's from the editor of the COD Almighty fanzine. So.
Oh, wow.
See, that's the thing. I had no idea whether the this is how little you gave us. I didn't know Vulture Culture was the name of the song or Roy of the Rogers Rap was the song or
Roy
the
of
artist.
the Rovers, Roy Rogers is a cowboy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Come on, BC is the home of the Rovers.
I'm just saying, that's as little as I knew.
Oh, dear. Well, you'll like this week's one because it's less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've been saving this all season. I've been waiting for AFC Wimbledon to be mathematically safe from relegation.
There you go.
It came on Tuesday, which we didn't have a show. So the season is now over, but they are mathematically safe. And that is a football phrase that I love because you don't really use it for anything else. But friends of the show, Half Man Half Biscuit, have kind of thought, what if you did use it for other things? And this is Half Man Half Biscuit from their album Trouble Over Bridgewater, Mathematically Safe.
May morning, hanging round the trapdoor, saw a girl like I've never seen before. I wanna make her mathematically safe, wanna keep her mathematically safe, take her up where we're mathematically safe, gonna wake up mathematically safe. table. There's nothing much in my fork, it's alright though, 'cause I can go for my walk around Carmel. Mathematically safe, ain't no alarm bell. We're mathematically safe on a lie low. In a sea of alright, I'm a fool, and I just wanna duck by.
Half Man Half Biscuit there, mathematically safe, from their 2000 album Trouble Over Bridgewater.
Up the Dons?
Up the Dons.
Or the Dons
down
stayed
the
up.
franchise. Awesome. East Fife, mathematically safe. AFC Wimbledon, mathematically safe. West Ham United, well, actually, they're not yet. But they're almost mathematically safe.
Has MK gone down?
Yes, they have
Right,
gone down.
there you
So AFC Wimbledon
Dancing on
are
the grave.
a league above MK Dons.
Must feel so good.
That
I want them to
great.
go bust now. That'd be even better. Half Man,
That would
Half
be
Biscuit.
ironic.
Yeah. I've still got a lot of Half Man, Half Biscuit songs. I thought I'd run out of the football ones, and then I realised I hadn't
What about
played
Whole
them.
Man, Whole Biscuit? When do we get to that?
That could be our tribute band.
There you go.
We could do that.
You could do that.
They've got a new album coming out on May 18th. It's called No One Cares About Your Creative Hub, so get your effing hedge cut. And there's at least 2 football-themed songs on that, judging by the titles.
Do they know about Wavelength? Are they
Yes.
doing it just for Wavelength?
Ale House Futsal and Swerving the Chickatrade.
There's this geezer. There's this geezer in Vancouver.
You'll be looking forward to those coming up. And friend of the show, Smapty Jones, has put together an AFTN Wavelength Spotify listening list.
Up the Smapty.
I don't have Spotify, so I don't understand it, but I believe if you search for AFTN, you will have our Wavelength thing. And we're going to do a YouTube one as well.
I think if you subscribe, you can get it, but even if you don't, you can still be able to get the playlist itself and listen to it.
Can you imagine people
I'm not
just
sure,
driving
though.
around and that's all they're listening to is Wavelength songs?
Love Smapty Jones.
That's me most of the time. Constantly in my head, these songs. And I've got some good ones coming up this month because we're going to keep Football Violence Month till June when the World Cup's on, because I think that will be more appropriate.
You think there'll be violence at this World Cup in Russia?
I have a hunch. I've got a bet on it. So the rest of this month's Wavelength songs are all going to be about football players, so I've got some crackers coming up. But now, it's time for BC Soccer Web headlines. BC Soccer Web Headlines is brought to you in partnership with bcsoccerweb.com, your one-stop site for news, links, lots more, locally, nationally, internationally. Make it part of your daily routine. Check out bcsoccerweb.com. What's been catching your eye on the site this week, Steve?
So, a little follow-up from earlier, actually late last year, after all the World Cup qualifying had happened. Peru captain Paulo Guerrero was suspended, and everybody thought he was going to miss the World Cup. And then the suspension was reduced by 6 months, so just in time for the World Cup, or I think later on this week.
Because I think that's how Reina got called into the team at one point.
Yeah. And then I think what's happened is there is another ruling. He's actually appealing even the 6-month ban. I don't know what that's going to get for him. He might as well stay. But also, I think the World Doping Agency is trying to get that, trying to get it extended to 2 years. So there is still a chance he could miss the World Cup.
I don't think players should be taking things they're not supposed to.
Yeah. Well, he says it happened. It was a small amount. Yeah. And it was because of spiked tea.
Yeah. A player's gonna say what they need to say. I'm not saying he is, but it's not unheard of for an athlete to say what they need to say to make it better than what it is. My only thing with this is I kind of like Jose Paulo Guerrero. He was a youth, came through the youth team at Bayern. And I got to see him play as a youth, like in 2003 and I kind of hope he's able to play for Peru. But I also hope that he is, what he says is true. So, We'll see
but
what happens.
But you don't condone cocaine.
I don't condone the use of things that they're not supposed to. Yeah.
Okay, so new news. Referee attacked by Ethiopian footballers for goal decision. Basically, a referee called the go-ahead goal. And as usual, what happens in these kind of situations, he gets chased around by the players. But then the coach...
It was hard to tell if it had gone over the line.
Yeah, it was close. But
wait, they don't use VAR in Egypt?
They don't.
No.
It was Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
Oh, Ethiopia, sorry.
And then, but he was caught up, a coach of that team caught up to him and basically just punched him out.
Yes.
And
then all the
video's up
guards
too,
came
yeah.
and separated them. And actually, talking... Well, we'll finish this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the coach has been fired,
Yep.
and all games have been suspended in the league going forward. I'm not sure how much going forward.
Because they're trying to show that you shouldn't punch the referee in the face?
That's
Okay.
ideal.
Now, you mentioned VAR there, so this won't be on the headlines because it only happened overnight.
Yeah.
Did you see what happened in the Australian Grand Final?
Oh, no. Oh, you tweeted that out.
The winning goal came in the 9th minute, but it may have been offside. So they went to look at VAR to see if it was, but the VAR wasn't working. They didn't get a feed into the stadium, so they couldn't review it. And it looks like it was an offside goal, and that decided the final 1-0.
Well, so that's not VAR's fault. That's some
technology. Yeah.
Or
but the thing is, the people
someone didn't plug something in.
Yeah.
But the people who are against VAR are happy about this.
More ammunition for them.
Okay, so other news from Africa. FIFA is advancing African World Cup teams $2 million for player bonuses. Now, they're advancing this. Usually teams get this after the World Cup is over.
Yeah.
But then there has been...
Every World Cup, there's...
Yeah. Well, for example, the 2014 World Cup, Cameroon arrived late. Ghana's government actually flew in $3 million worth of cash to pay their players because they were threatening a strike. And Nigerian players canceled the team practice. So I think this is a way to just stop this from happening. So the players get the money and they're not concerned about not getting the money, which tends to happen sometimes, apparently.
I'm not sure how to say this in a non-ethnocentric sounding way.
Yeah.
But having talked to players from Africa, the corruption that happens around football.
Because there's no guarantee you're going to get the money afterwards.
And the FAs is really disturbing from the anecdotal first-hand reports I've heard.
Lower league team, Dunstable Town, has been relegated to the regional division. I think it's level 8 of the English leagues. But they're basically the owner, who's got a great name, Tony McCool, is crowdfunding money for the players because they basically had no playing budget. It is a semi-pro team. They basically got into financial problems. They had no playing budget, and the players that were on the team left basically for money elsewhere. And they held out tryouts. They got together a squad of 21. It wasn't enough. These guys paid for their own money to get to the games and everything. So they did a crowdfunding. As of when I checked earlier today, they have exceeded. They were trying to raise about £2,100, and they got to $2,686. So Michael, these semi-pro teams, there is some money for them to cover costs mostly, or
it's like East Fife's a semi-pro team.
Yeah.
So all the guys have
Wait, what?
regular
You always
jobs.
told me they was like top notch.
Well, yeah. Shh.
But this is mostly cover expenses, or is it?
Well, they get something like £40 a week or something, and then they get all their expenses paid and stuff as well.
So these guys didn't have expenses paid either. So that wasn't a good thing.
Here's the thing: if Tony gets the sack, he'll still be McCool.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great name.
Yeah. I might change mine to that.
Something that not really directly affects you, but
Tony. Sorry.
Well, you just have to change a letter in your last name to get it there. Well, that's Zach. We'll have to edit this laughing out a little bit. It could make the show really long.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No worries. Something that
we're coming to my favorite story. That we're gonna talk
something
about.
that might affect you because you're a collector of these.
Yes.
Matchday programs. Matchday programs will no longer be a requirement, and is mostly due to social and digital media.
Yeah, it's always been mandated by the Football League that teams all the way down the English pyramid in Scotland and England are mandated to produce a matchday program. Sometimes it's only like maybe a 4-page thing, but they have to produce something. And then the higher the league are, there's like lots of requirements and stuff. More and more clubs, though, have been switching to digital. I know the Whitecaps had done a kind of digital thing. Canada Soccer's had some magazines through Issue that you can have for some of the games. Breaks my heart. Nothing I like more than just thumbing and smelling and football programs that we're talking about, Zach, because I regularly go into my spare room and sniff my old programs.
Well, the noises I have to hear next to me, I don't turn around because I'm not sure where they're coming from when you get the program at the Whitecaps game.
I was going to say, what are you going to fill your house with?
Probably more crap, to use my wife's terminology. TSS Rovers, though, are bucking the trend.
Oh.
They are bringing out programs this season.
Nice. Also, there's hope for you.
Yeah, so I'll just have my new collection. I have nearly every East 5 home program from 1959 to 2016.
Why'd you stop?
It was really expensive to get them shipped over. And then
Slacker.
I thought, when I die, my wife's just going to dump them in a skip.
Wait, who skip?
No, a skip is like a trash bin.
All right, skip.
Coming to North America a little bit, NASL there's been a proposition made.
Yes, and I like a good proposition.
The New York Cosmos owner has basically made a $500 million proposal to U.S. soccer.
This is like older news, isn't it?
No,
this is something new.
Yeah.
Another one?
Yeah.
He's coming out with new ones all the time. So
I'm not saying it's an indecent proposal, but
so he's gonna put in 250 of his own, and then 250 million is going to be raised through investors. What they want to do is they want to have a 10-year window for NASL to realign with the regulations of U.S. soccer.
So NASL is dead. Someone should tell you.
Yeah. But he also wants, this is the interesting part, he wants the USSF to restructure to remove the favoritism between U.S. soccer and MLS/SUM. So there's no...
Oh, this is New York Cosmos, not the Miami FC owner.
No, New York Cosmos.
Okay. I thought it was... Okay.
So what do you guys think, like... Do you think it's just a power play for him, or just
it's a lot of money? But there's no way. There's too many self-interest.
How much did the goats pay to get in? 200 million or 150?
I don't know. It just keeps going up and up.
Yeah. So you have 3 more teams coming in at 150 to 200. They have that money in hand already. So why would you? I think there should be promotion or relegation.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do it because the money is more important.
He's not asking for promotion relegation. He wants the favoritism to end.
That's what he's at.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
There was no mention of
he's not explicitly asking for that, but that's what he.
Oh, I know. He's always wanted that before too.
Talking about promotion and relegation, we're going to talk about some Canadian PL stuff in a little bit as well. But I had an interesting discussion today because I know Canadian PL they would really like promotion relegation, and I would love that as well. But then thinking about the feasibility aspect of it. So say they organised a BC Tier 3 league like they've got in Ontario and Quebec. So you put the VMSL with Fraser Valley teams all in. So say Reno's Tigers or Coquitlam Metro Ford won that and then won the right to be promoted to the Canadian Premier League. How on earth could they meet the stadium requirements?
It's a great question.
It's going to take time. It's going to take time for promotion and relegation.
I believe it's happened in Scotland, hasn't it, where teams didn't get promoted because they didn't have the standard.
And England as well, years back from then. Well, actually, this one, Sutton United have a plastic pitch. If they win the playoffs, they're not allowed to be promoted because the Football League will not let them play on an artificial pitch. But they've never had a game postponed now since they put this pitch down.
So there's all kinds of obstacles that leagues face with these kinds of things. So I think the Canadian Premier League will hopefully, as they see, this is one of the things.
Yeah, folks throw out that they want this promotion relegation, but feasibly, it's just not there. I'd love it, but realistically, it can't happen unless you lower admission standards.
Let's just say Coquitlam Metro Ford. Do they play out of Percy Perry?
Well, they play in the side pitches at Percy Perry.
Right.
So you could technically play out of Percy Perry, but it's not a 7,000 capacity venue.
Yeah, but you could make that a temporary thing for a year or whatever.
If the city wanted to do that, because it's obviously used for other stuff.
Right. Cities and municipalities are always standing in the way of football in
this
country.
Are, and that's something we can talk about at some point.
Well, next story is about about Canadian soccer. A certain soccer star, goalkeeper, of the female persuasion is not going to be able to play in the PDL because she's a woman.
And because it's a man's league. Yeah.
I think it's a men's league, not man's league.
I know there's a lot of hubbub about this, but this seems like I don't know what level. PDL has already said that they're happy that she's doing well and everything like that, but it is a gender-specific league, and they can't go against those rules.
So when
go ahead.
So when I saw this on Twitter, people talking about this. Well, first of all, when she signed right away, I was just like, "Wait, this has already happened. Someone's tried to do this."
It was obvious she was never going to play.
Yeah, there were, I forget her name, Maribel something or other in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
She got signed by a second division Mexican team, and I think the Mexican FA and FIFA stepped in and said, "This can't happen because we have men's competitions, we have women's competitions." I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying, based on what's happened in the past, as soon as I saw that she was signing for Foothills, I was like, someone's not going to let her play.
Yeah.
You can argue with the merits
of the
of
right decision because it's men's soccer. It's like, does that mean Marco Carducci can go and play in the NWSL? That's what it's just opening up. So then it's not a women's soccer league because you've got a male goalkeeper in it. So it's clearly a men's league. And this is just a publicity thing in my mind from Calgary Foothills. They're just trying to raise a little bit of awareness for their team, create a bit of interest in them. It's all nonsense. There was no way she was ever going to be allowed to play.
It's Maribel Dominguez.
That's it, Maribel Dominguez. From what I know of Tommy Wheeldon.
And sorry, just to interrupt you. FIFA was the one that blocked it in the Mexican.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that although PDL said no, I'm assuming even if they had said yes, FIFA would have blocked it for them too.
I would assume. Some level. What was that, 2004, 2005?
2004.
Now, I know in 21 Thunder you had the female coach with it, but that was a...
That's different. Coach is different.
Yeah. No, like, I hear what you're saying, Michael, and I think for some people that will probably be a harsh perspective.
But the correct one.
But so what is the alternative? So the one thing is like
they need to make better women's teams in Canada.
It's not a co-ed league.
Well, they need to make better women's teams in Canada
Do you think there should be co-ed professional leagues?
No.
Okay. Because that would potentially solve this, but I know for Steph she's
She's been positive about it,
and
even though she said,
she's
no.
been very positive. She talked about the examples of ice hockey players who have gone and played in men's leagues,
but they're not run by FIFA.
Very, very, very true. But she was hoping that based on those kind of things having happened, I think she thought, here's an opportunity for me to continue to develop as a footballer, and maybe open a door. And the door got closed. And if you listen to her talk, she seems like she's disappointed, yet she's moving on to what's next for her. Sure. And
she's not making a big deal about it, as other people might be in supporting her.
Yeah,
she's expressing her disappointment.
Yeah.
But
the one thing I will say in support of her is a lot of folk have said go and play in a women's league, but it's not that easy because there are no professional women's teams in Canada. So that's what needs to change.
For sure.
There needs to be women's professional teams here.
Which my understanding is that the Canadian Premier League, their desire is to have a women's league.
But it's going to
take Canadian Women's
few
Premier
years
League
before that's up and running.
It would take some time, yeah.
Okay, and then CPL news. First of all, a quick story. A mixed reaction for temporary stadium coming to Wanderers ground. Now, this is not that big of a deal. There are people that are against it because they feel like it's a public park area, and so they don't want it to be happening. But it's already been voted through, so I think it is going to happen. It's not going to be that, but it was just something to mention. But the big story was there was a report about the Canadian Premier League's original 8 teams that are going to be revealed. A couple teams have already been authorized by the officially, and we already knew that we could almost put together these 8 teams. Let's go from east to west. You got Halifax, the Wanderers. Obviously, we talked about them. Ottawa, Hamilton, York, which I think is the GTA essentially.
York 9.
Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, El Clasico. They played again the second leg today or something like that, didn't they?
Yeah, 5-1 was it?
Oh, Eddie's got on the board. Good for them.
And then Port City in BC.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not sure if that's an official name yet.
No.
No, it's not? Okay.
Well, let's hope it's not.
So those are the 8 teams. What do you guys think of the makeup and the distribution of the teams for West and for East? It kind of makes sense.
That's good. I'm still looking forward to East Fife Vancouver that I am hoping to launch myself. We will rebuild Empire and...
Wait, if you is launching a team in the CPL, we need to talk. Steve and I need to talk to you.
It's good, it's promising, it's big gap that there's no Quebec team.
Yeah, which is not ideal, and it's not for lack of... Like, I'm pretty sure they've connected with people in the province.
I think it'll happen soon, but I think the other cities were much stronger.
Yeah.
Like, you needed a team in the GTA. Although the area, I think, is only like half an hour from BMO Field, so I don't know where they're going to put a stadium there. And then, obviously, Hamilton and Winnipeg, we know they're set, and Ottawa's already up and running, kind of.
Well, it's in York, right? So the York region, which is north of the mega city of Toronto.
Yeah, but it's not that far away.
No. And the Saskatchewan one
it's closer than Thunder Bay.
Yes.
Yeah, Saskatchewan. Yeah, they want to be long term. They want to be in both Saskatoon and Regina.
That'd be ideal because then you get the rivalry going there too.
And in Toronto, you also have Saga City. Like Mississauga is also really wanting a team. They have a Saga City collective supporter movement.
And you could do Windsor because you could get the Detroit kind of.
I don't know. I haven't heard much out of Windsor.
Well, no, I'm saying it's a possibility down the road.
Yeah. There was it Detroit who was like maybe people were talking.
Yeah, people were talking. If Detroit maybe Victoria, maybe get us. I'd like 2 BC teams just so we've got that rivalry. So that Zach can be on one team, I can be on the other. We can meet up for our ramming.
Oh, and you can wear kilts and everything.
Yeah.
So in BC, I think long term in BC, their plan is probably for let's say 2 to 4 teams.
Yeah,
2 to 4.
I could see something in the Okanagan too.
Yeah, totally. Okanagan, Island,
the OP
Fraser,
Energy, maybe.
Fraser, and then one more. But here's one thing.
The Lower Mainland.
Lower Mainland. Here's one thing. As if you follow the stuff, you follow the website, you listen to all the stuff about this, read all the articles. So what's going to happen now is basically this launch of these sides being accepted by Canada Soccer is going to kick off a launch across the country of the actual launchings of the individual clubs. And so essentially there'll be like one a week or one every week and a half or every 2 weeks or whatever. And I think it'll go, I don't know this for sure. I think it'll go west to east. So I think they'll start out maybe in Halifax and go across the country, and you'll see official names. Because let me put it this way: the list of names that we've been reading and trademark, those are not official names, right?
That is good.
Yeah.
I would hope Calgary Foothills is.
No, that should stick.
No, there's a problem with that.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, they can't use Calgary Foothills in Calgary because it's only one of the clubs, and so it's like Chivas USA. You're isolating. Because Foothills comes out of a youth club.
Oh.
And so if you use that, you're isolating all the other clubs. So it's most likely not going to be the name.
I'm hoping
Calgary.
it's Halifax Town.
That would be nice for you or for British people, but yeah. So what happens? You'll see these launch kind of
York City.
You don't like York 9?
No.
That one feels like the most real, unfortunately.
If we go Halifax Town, York City. I do my team in Oregon, Newport County.
That's not Canada.
But
your Canada includes Cascadia.
Kinda, yeah.
We could be 2-3. We could be the name of the city 2-3. Because BC is B and C in the second and third letter.
Easy there, San Diego.
2-3. Premier League.
So this is when things are going to get really exciting. Where you'll see official names, you might see colors, might see logos, those kind of things. That's all going to come out in the near future. And there will be some things that will be exciting. And there'll be possibly things that are not as exciting.
This is a work in progress. The thing is, the one thing that CPL has shown is that they are willing to, when they hear something that's not working, they're willing to change it. And so if I see something I don't like, obviously, we'll let people who don't like it, if the majority don't like it, they'll probably change it.
Apart from Wavelength, that's not going anywhere.
Well, you told me the majority of feedback.
In my head, they do.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so
the voices in my head, the majority of them feedback how much they like it.
Okay, quick news to the World Cup 2026. President Trump, he tweeted something out. Now, he said something in person. He was hosting the Nigerian president, and he made this comment, and I'm going to try to read this properly. It's a really confusing quote.
Go and do the voice.
Yeah, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do the voice. I hope all African countries and countries throughout the world that we will also be supporting you, and that they will likewise support us in our bids along with Canada and Mexico for the 2026 World Cup. We will be watching very closely, and any help that they can give us in that bid we would appreciate. Now, He made this to the Nigerian president. Couple problems. First of all, Nigerian president, the federation was suspended in 2014 for government interference.
Yes.
So you can't have the government interfere anyways. Second of all, Nigeria has already committed to Morocco. So that I don't think President Trump knew. And
what? He didn't know something?
No, he didn't. I don't think he was briefed on that.
What?
Yeah.
Do the voice.
No, I can't do the voice. It'll probably turn to the Kennedy voice or whatever. So obviously,
before or after he was shot.
It can't be worse than my impersonation of Michael last week.
No, but what do you think? Basically, everybody's saying he's hurting the bid because he's also saying it's a U.S. bid along with Canada and Mexico.
Well,
it's not the United bid
it's
that
a
everybody talks
threat
about. Yeah.
that we tried that at the United Nations. If you don't support us at United Nations,
Yeah.
then we will pull all our things and
Okay, so final thing, a scorecard. Who's supporting whom in the World 2026 bid? This was provided by Soccer America.
I'm with Morocco.
So this is as of Tuesday. So who knows who did anything since then? Morocco has 8 of 54 from Africa so far, 3 of 46 from Asia, 2 of 35 from CONCACAF.
Traitors.
Yeah, I think it was Dominica and St. Lucia, if I'm not mistaken.
One country, one vote.
5 of 55.
Does Trinidad and Tobago have 2?
When Jack Werner was around, they did. Sure did.
5 of 55 from UEFA.
Yes.
So that's a total of 18. The United vote has 1 of 46 from Asia, which is Saudi Arabia. 6 of 35 from CONCACAF.
I know where 3 of those are coming from.
Yeah. 10 of 10 from South America. So because that was and so they got 17. So right now it's 18 to 17 for Morocco.
This is more exciting.
I'm going to be biting my nails for a month.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Anything else catching your eye?
No, nothing else catching my eye.
There's a
I
couple
can cut some stuff out because I didn't want
a couple of other things I was going to talk about, but I can't remember what they are now. So just before we round the show off, just want to big up a couple of things. We'll talk about one of the things next Sunday.
Are you talking about TSS?
As well. Yep, TSS Rovers had their launch night on Thursday. I unfortunately wasn't able to go.
Same.
But it was a good night was had by all.
That's what I heard.
But their season gets underway a week on Monday. Get out to that if you can. Lane United are coming up. Should be a cracking match. Get the season off to a start. I know it's a Monday night. What else is there to do on a Monday?
Get the season off to a start?
Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Hopefully not lose 3 points for any ineligible players. But
they beat Lane in the home opener last year, right?
So that should be good. And this weekend, if you fancy your live football fix, obviously the Whitecaps on Friday night.
Yeah.
Saturday at Burnaby Lake is part 1 of the Provincial Cup finals.
It's a 2 day
2 days
event.
Part 2, the big A Cup final, will be on Sunday at Swangard. So you can have 2 days of football at Swangard on Sunday and Monday.
Now, Michael, what are the prices to get into the games?
Free to get into the Provincial Cup.
Free, can you believe that?
Now, if you're Scottish and you're listening to that, something is free. I don't even have to take Steve's kid to get something free. I might take him anyway.
Is it free to bring flares and smoke and stuff?
Yeah, they'll appreciate it. It's BCT Rovers Tigers United versus Langley United. VMSL versus Fraser Valley Soccer League.
So it's Rovers, not Rogers.
Definitely Rovers. Okay. Nick Sulzma from TSS will be leading the line for BCT Rovers Tigers. Got a hat-trick today in the semi-final. B Cup final will be on Saturday at Burnaby Lake. That's going to be a cracker.
Oh,
so
because of one team.
Check out AFTN and just check everything out and see what happens. But that is it for this week's show. Before we go, just let everyone know where they can find you online.
You can find me on Twitter at WhitecapsBeat.
It's at Zachary AM, and I'm a part of the Movement Cover Collective.
I am Michael McCall. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada. Find us on Instagram at AFTN Soccer. Read our stuff, aftn.ca. Have a lot of Whitecaps and local stuff going up on the site this week, so check that out. Watch out for the preview podcast on Thursday as well, Thursday morning, maybe Wednesday night as well. But until next week, thanks for listening, take care, and mon the Caps.
Going to your first match is an experience you never forget. The atmosphere of what's going on around the pitch looks beautiful, and you always look and go, wow, I'd love to play here one day. If you get the bug, it's going to stay with you for life.
10 minutes left. Yeah, but there's still some time. It's not the final score. We need more than the numbers we're given. Show us you live and breathe the game. You're more than a name. That's what we came for. We can bring you more than the score. Every story. Let's take this thing off of the field into the real world, away from the numbers, away from the numbers.